Hey guys, it's me and Liam back at it again, and we're here to talk about a message that feels important right now for the collective, and it feels very tender as well. And I would be very interested to know who resonates with this message, because I've been feeling like in the field there's some kind of feelings of messiness that a lot of people could be going through right now. Feelings of like, why am I not emotionally over this? Why do I feel so messy right now? Why do I feel like one day I got everything together? Like, I'm juggling things well, I'm juggling my emotions well, I'm juggling life well, everything feels well. And then some days I wake up and it feels like I can't handle any emotion, I can't handle anything. And that's what's coming through, and it feels like the reason why there's this juxtaposition of emotions that is happening right now is because there's some kind of restructuring of the nervous system that took place from a moment that deeply changed your life. Maybe you were in a really tender space and then a restructuring happened that kind of pulled the rug from under your feet, and you had to restructure yourself emotionally. It feels like your emotional landscape may have changed very drastically in the past, let's say 3 to 6 months. And it feels like you're in a space where you're like, how is this still affecting me sometimes? Why do I sometimes feel like a little kid that is learning how to feel all over again? And I watched a video the other day. This person was talking about the dark feminine and how, you know, a lot of us on the spiritual path are already very familiar with this dark feminine energy. And sometimes this energy helps us move through certain seasons in our lives. And she will introduce this feminine, this messy nature of, you know, messiness, whatever messiness means for you. I don't want to define messiness because I feel that everybody relates to it differently, but just this sort of energy of moving through life in a way that feels a little bit more wild, a little bit more primal, a little bit more F the rules type of vibe. But it feels like that's working for you right now. If you're in that energy, it's working for you, and you're no longer in a space with the Page of Cups reversed. You're no longer in a space where you judge yourself for being in the mess. You're no longer in a space where it all gets too much and you just drown in the mess. It feels like you're able to coexist with the messiness right now. Like you're able to juggle whatever's coming through, and you're actually allowing space for those moments of messiness and those moments where feelings are coming back, because you're aware that your nervous system is recalibrating right now and you have compassion for that. And I feel like that is really beautiful, that you're in a space where you can honor yourself in that kind of way. And I actually want to pick another card about the situation. Let me see. Yeah. Hold on. And you're not abandoning your devotion to your craft, You're not abandoning the devotion that you have towards something that you feel is so graspable and tangible in your life right now. Like whatever you're working on, even if you just put a tiny bit of energy into it per day, it feels like even through this emotions that are happening right now, maybe in the past you would just let the ball drop. But right now, it feels like you're able to stay balanced in a way that maybe doesn't look like balance on the outside. Like maybe you would be, maybe there's, you know, some type A people that would be like, whoa, she's a freaking mess. But it feels like you know what you're doing. You know that these emotions are wild, and you know that whatever is coming through right now, you can trust it because you don't take every single emotion as truth right now. You know that some wild stuff is coming through. You know what to trust and what to just allow to pass and be like, okay, I see you. You a little crazy, but I love you. That's how it feels. And you're not letting that take you off your path. You're not allowing that to shake your devotion to what you do in your life that makes you feel stable and connected to purpose. And you're realizing that messiness is actually beautiful and perfect, and it could most definitely be a part. It is a part of how you process life. And it feels like you're honoring messiness right now. And it feels like your confidence right now is coming from your devotion. It feels like you may not have something that you can prove just yet, but it feels like Spirit sees how devoted you are. Spirit sees that you're committed to your craft in a way that feels like devotion, and a way that feels authentic, in a way that feels like you want to feel nourished as you go. You want to feel inspired as you go. You're not just doing to just do. And Spirit sees that. And it feels like your confidence right now is coming from your ability to move through the mess and being able to juggle it all. Maybe you're somebody who lost stability in times of messiness because maybe you judged it as wrong and punished yourself for being messy. That is coming through. And with the Eight of Pentacles, it's like, it feels like you're gaining a lot of confidence from just the same stuff that you've been doing every day. Those devotional little things that we do every single day. And it feels like your consistency is making you feel stronger on the inside right now. And I'm not talking like crazy consistency, like gym every day, this every day, every hour of the day, something to do. I'm talking about those daily little things that may have been hard for you to keep up with in the past because of your emotions. Right now, you're able to connect with those things. So like a tiny example could be like, if you didn't used to like make your bed every day, now you do it every day, and it feels natural, and it feels good, and it feels like that little thing that's just like a symbol of your devotion to self. And that's just a tiny thing, but there's so many other things. But I want to pick another card as well about this devotion energy. Interesting. And it feels like there are facets of your journey right now that like your subconscious is reworking itself right now. And it feels like you're being distracted from something that's happening on a deeper level. You're being distracted from something that's happening on a deeper level because it's meant to expand you. And it's meant to expand the way that you create. So whoever I am talking to is definitely a deep feeler, is definitely a creative person. And not only are you rewiring your entire emotional body, but there's something about subconscious truths that are coming to the surface right now. And I feel like the moon is also deeply connected to this primal nature, and the ability to be connected to the subconscious and to the primal nature inside, but then also to be equally as connected to the conscious and equally as connected to human life and to the outside world, with the wolf and the dog kind of representing that, you know, subconscious versus the conscious, inside versus the outside world. And it feels like right now, this energy that you're in is acting as an initiation towards a spark that is trying to meet you, towards an idea that is trying to meet you. And it feels like right now, again, with this dark feminine energy, with this in-between worlds energy, it feels like you might feel like you're in between worlds right now. You might feel like there's a part of you that's just deep in the night, deep in the darkness, deep in the esoteric realms, deep looking at emotions or shadows or this period of darkness or moodiness or just that feeling of, I don't give a F. I'm messy right now. Who cares? I'm the witch right now. Like I'm in this energy of like alchemy. You know, you're so connected to that. But then also deeply as connected to the grander scheme of it all. And you realize that this messiness is really not as serious. And it feels like there's actually a beautiful message coming about you used to take darkness so seriously. And now you're realizing that you can be in it and take it serious, but also know that it's part of a grander scheme of events. And that it's actually not as serious. And it, like, look at how they're barking at the moon. It feels like worshiping the darkness almost. Worshiping it because you have this deep knowing that eventually some clarity will shine through. Eventually a new spark will shine through. The moon will shine onto you. I want to get a clarification for the Ace of Wands. That's interesting. Yeah. 8 of Wands. So it's just like, I feel like this could also be a time where, I'm gonna raise this up a little bit. But with the 8 of Wands, you could be receiving messages from the spirit realm at this time. Things coming in hot, things coming in quick. So it could also be like, you know, sparks, messages. What I'm also hearing is things could be triggering you at this time. There could be things that come in as triggers to illuminate something. And I feel like this is really deeply connected to that tower moment. Like there could be some triggers that are connected to this tower moment that are really testing you right now. They're testing you emotionally. And it honestly just feels like you're like, all right then, that's cake. Test me again. Like, you're like, test me again, honestly, because you are devoted. You are devoted. You are not letting things get you off your track here. And it does feel like there are some energies that may be coming back up to trigger you, but it's only because they lead to a grander understanding. Sometimes things have to activate us somatically for us to actually feel it. Because if it stays in the mind, you're not actually going to feel it. And it feels like these feelings might be a lot more overwhelming than you would like. And it feels like there's this energy around these feelings of they kind of knock you off your feet when they arrive, and you kind of just have to ride it out until there's some kind of settling back down in the nervous system. Like, that's how these triggers are working through your body at this time. And I feel like with the Page of Cups reversed too, it's like this feeling of not even being able to put words to your feelings. It feels like there's so much coming through, so much that you can't even name, that you're like, why am I even feeling all of this? Why can't I even name it? Why can't I even journal about it? Like, I don't even, and it feels like your mind has surrendered to trying to understand it. And you're kind of just allowing yourself to feel messy and to just be in it. And I think that you've kind of surrendered the wanting to understand it, the wanting to journal, the wanting to get it. It just feels like you're like, I don't even care about getting it. I'm just going to let it happen. And I'm just going to be in this energy because there's going to be some clarity here about why this is happening, and not clarity in a way where you're just gonna like understand. The clarity is gonna come through as some kind of creative nudge. It's gonna come through in the way that you create, in a way that it's gonna come through in a way that you channel your energy, not just through thought. If that's what I'm trying to say here. But let's pick some more cards. I'm really interested about this reading. Let's clarify the Eight of Pentacles. Devotion. Wow. The Lovers. The Lovers came with the Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, I feel like nothing can shake how much you're choosing yourself right now. I feel like even in your lowest emotions recently, you haven't allowed yourself to go to that place of self-punishment. You haven't allowed yourself to go to that place of bad-mouthing yourself. You're so devoted to choosing you. You're so devoted to changing your thoughts, to healing your nervous system. You're so devoted to allowing space for your feelings so that this restructuring of the nervous system can fully happen. And you're not rushing that process. You're allowing every single day to show you something different. And you're showing every single day, you're showing spirit that you will continue to choose yourself every single day with the Lovers here. Wow. Yeah. It's like you're moving in this un-F-witable energy. There's nothing that can F with you. There really isn't. There's nothing that can destabilize you all the way down. Wow. That's beautiful. So if you've been feeling a little bit discouraged lately, if you've been feeling like your emotions are very overwhelming, if you've been feeling like a little kid again and just kind of like, you know, just messy in a way that you don't normally like, if it feels like an unexpected wave of emotions that made you feel like you were regressing, I just really want to name here that you're not going backwards, and that, you know, healing from a situation that deeply destabilized your nervous system is not a linear process. Okay? It's not one of those things that every day it just gets like better and better and better and better until it's gone. You know, that's a cute fairy tale, right? Yes, it gets better every day, but some days it's not gonna feel better. It doesn't mean you're regressing. It just means that you might feel worse some days. But that doesn't mean that you're not doing the work. That doesn't mean that you're not doing the work. It's actually important that you allow the messiness, the ickiness, the feelings of, you know, all of that, but without making it mean that you're going backwards, without beating yourself up or punishing yourself. And you're not doing that, which is beautiful. And if your mind has gone to those places where you're like, dang, you're such an idiot, like, I can't believe you're not over this. I can't believe you're still destabilized. Like, what's wrong with you? I've gone through that. I've gone through phases of my life where, you know, in the beginning of the journey where you start to notice your thoughts and you start realizing how mean you are to yourself. You know, I went through that and I was like, holy cow. That's not nice. But it feels like you're in a space right now where it's almost like you can catch the thought and you're like, oh, wait, I don't relate to that thought anymore. Like, I love myself. I don't relate to those thoughts. Even if you hear them in the distance, in a deep, dark closet in your mind, it feels like you don't even engage with that kind of language anymore, even inside the brain. And it feels like you're deeply devoted to self, and also deeply devoted to choosing your authentic self. So it's like if you had a plan to be devoted to something the whole week, like let's say you made a plan for the week, which if you did, I'm sure things didn't go as planned because of this spread. But anyway, it feels like if you're a planner and you're somebody who really likes to structure your days and organize your days, it feels like the type of energy that's coming up right now is like if you did wake up in this Page of Cups energy, you know, just feeling all these things unexpectedly and being really, really overwhelmed by them on a nervous system level where your body's struggling to handle what's coming through. This could manifest as like a lot of fatigue, or just that feeling of like not wanting to do anything, you know. Wait, where was I going with this? Yeah, like if you're somebody who plans things to stay stable and, you know, sometimes, and you woke up one day, let's say this week, and you're like, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to do everything on my list today because I'm feeling the weight of the entire world right now. It feels like you're devoted in a way where you choose love. Not in a way where you're like workaholic, thugging through the pain. That doesn't feel like the energy here at all. It feels like if you did wake up with some tenderness or heaviness, that you choose alignment. You know why you do what you do. You know why you live through your heart. And you know that choosing the self is not overworking the self or being devoted in a way that isn't authentic. So it feels like whatever type of devotion you're in right now feels deeply authentic and connected to choosing love. And love is non-resistance. Love is a force that permeates through all of us. Love is not pushing through the day just because you gotta get X, Y, or Z done. Love is moving through the day with what has arisen at the best of your capacity in a way that feels devoted to self, but for the highest of good, for the highest of your good. So it feels like you're deeply honoring the self right now. You're deeply honoring yourself also by not talking smack about yourself and not judging yourself for everything that you've been going through. Like it feels like you've really come home to self, even though you're going through this messy energy, but it feels like a messiness that feels like home. It just feels right. It feels like, and it feels like you don't really care to justify it. And I like that. I really like that. I want to see if we can get one more card here. Thank you, Spirit. Wow. We got the Fool. Yeah, and I think you're recognizing the tenderness of the space that you're in right now, because not only is your nervous system being restructured, but at the same exact time of this healing and restructuring from drastic changes, you're also stepping into uncertainty and a new phase of your life. And that is so vulnerable. Like you're like fully restructuring on the inside, but on the outside, you're stepping into basically a whole new life. And maybe it's not right now. Like it feels like these events kind of happened within like a long amount of time, like maybe in a 6-month period of, whoa, the rug was pulled. I'm learning how to restructure, but I'm also learning how to inhabit my newest self. So you're undergoing so many changes at the same time right now. Like you fully jumped a timeline, and it feels like your nervous system is trying to catch up with all of that. And you're aware of the fact that you jumped the timeline. So you're just in a space where you're like, I'm going to allow it to be messy because I literally just leaped. Like, that's a lot on the system. That is a lot on the system. To do all of this at once and balance all of the practical things that are happening in your life as well. And I feel like you're deeply acknowledging the self and having a lot of compassion with the self about this season. So let this be a confirmation that if you're in some messy ass energy right now, you don't need to justify it. Okay? You are devoted to self. Your biggest strength is your devotion to spirit, to the divine. That is what drives you. That is your courage. That is your strength. That is your heart. And you can handle anything that comes up, even if it takes a little extra messiness, resting, whatever it is that messy is for you, okay? You know, this is beautiful. And it's like, you know, the Fool is a tender energy to be in. A lot of things might feel uncertain for you right now. Especially when it comes to the ideas that are coming in, and just, you know that they're not ready to fully be acted on, all these ideas, but they are coming in. So it's like, not only is your system releasing a lot, but it's also taking in a lot of new information at this time. So yeah, that's a lot to be going through, and it can feel really overwhelming sometimes. And some days it might feel like you don't even know how to handle your feelings, and that's okay. Let's see what else comes through. I said one more card, but let's do one more. Thank you, Spirit. What's the highest outcome of this energy, Spirit?
Liam. Hi, buddy.
Buddy. Yes, okay. So it feels like what's so interesting is I asked about the highest timeline, the highest outcome. And I got the 10 of Swords. And I'm getting that literally just allowing yourself to be completely surrendered to the mind. Like, let yourself be completely surrendered to all of the input that is trying to happen right now. Like, let it kill you is what I'm like, I know this sounds counterintuitive, but I feel like it's this energy of just let it finish you. Like, whatever happened here that destabilized you, it feels like let it run its course and let it finish you. Let it exhaust you all the way, because it feels like a lot of these feelings right now are exhausting, and you can't keep pushing through. You can't keep like intellectualizing it. Like, you just have to let it take you the hell out, take you out all the way. And what I feel like, whatever situation you went through, it's crazy because it feels like you're in this Fool energy and you're sitting at two different energies right now that feel so completely opposite, but are also so deeply connected. It's like, and feelings can coexist. I mean, we could be happy, sad, depressed, manic, I don't know. All of that in one day, you know, like, we can feel so many different things at once. And I feel like right now you're in a space where not only are you super excited about the new beginning that is coming online for you right now, the new version of self that you're stepping into, the new identity that you're trying to figure out how to fill the shoes of your new identity. And it feels like also at the same time, you're freaking exhausted as hell. Like, it feels like your old self would not go on anymore, but you're so connected to your devotion that it's not that you're pushing from a place of burnout, but you're just allowing Spirit to be your strength right now. You're allowing Spirit to be your strength right now. You're allowing your devotion to be your confidence. It feels like whatever you've been through, like, you shouldn't be confident right now because of what you've been through. But Spirit, God, your consistency, your love for yourself, your connection to Spirit every single day is your confidence. Whatever happened did not destroy you. You're still here. You're still here. It didn't kill you. It didn't kill you, but you gotta let it finish you. Okay? I feel like there's a strong message of don't fight the exhaustion. Don't fight the exhaustion that you're feeling. If you gotta be a caveman for a whole day, be a caveman for a whole day. Okay. I feel like rules don't apply right now. I'm not giving you permission to drop the ball, but I'm giving you permission to take a lot of things off your to-do list right now. Because this density is no joke. And, you know, it feels like maybe some people you're surrounded with wouldn't really understand, but you honestly are in a space where you understand. And if you don't, I'm gonna let you know right now that I understand. I get it. But just don't forget that one way or another, we're born here on this planet alone, and we leave this planet alone. And with the Lover's card here, I feel like it's so symbolic of only you are going to understand your experience. Only you are going to live your life experience. Only you inhabit your own shoes. And it feels like your relationship to self is becoming so sacred right now. Oh my God, it's becoming so sacred right now. You're becoming closer to self than you have ever been in your life. And that's why you're so exhausted, because anything that didn't align with that fully had to fall away. And in that falling away, there's some kind of restructuring in your nervous system that is needing to happen right now so that you can hold that. You can hold the newness so that you can hold this new energy that is trying to reach you. And you're feeling it already, this newness, this new chapter. So, wow. I'm like, should I pick some oracle cards? No, I think this feels complete. Yeah. Yeah, and I just want to say that don't label what you're going through, okay? I think that sometimes we can get into this space of like, oh, I'm having a rough patch, or I'm having a bad season, or I'm like really depressed right now. And it's just like, I want to invite you to not label it. I really want to invite you to not label it as depression or anxiety or anything dark, because I feel like societally we have such a weird, we put the word dark in this weird box that makes it bad. And I feel like darkness is just as important as the light. And I don't think that darkness is bad. I think, you know, it depends what we're talking about, and obviously, you know, if suicidal thoughts are coming up, like, you need to get external help, of course, 1,000%. But I think that sometimes when we're going through darker feelings, and the way that I see it, you know, it's like heaviness, tenderness, maybe noticing some patterns and thoughts that, or shadows, if you will. That's kind of what I mean by the darkness. And I feel like if we don't allow darkness to become a part of our spiritual journey and experience, and when we exile darkness and make it wrong, then we're making 50% of ourselves wrong. Quite literally. Like, you're making yourself wrong. And then when we're making ourselves wrong, whether it's conscious or self-conscious, whenever a dark feeling comes up, you punish yourself because it's wrong. So I just want to bring that up, for anybody who needed to hear that, because punishing your darkness is just going to trap it even more and exile it even more. And when we have love for our darkness, when we have love for our darkness, when we have non-resistance towards our darkness and we just allow it to be what it is without punishing the self, without exiling parts of the self, it creates deeper communion with the self. And that's the threshold that you're standing in right now. Deeper communion with the self, deep compassion for your messiness, for your human experience, for the way that you're moving through, doing the best that you can with the tools that you have, and staying devoted to choosing the self every single day, even through the mess. And it feels like there's really a message about how you may have self-abandoned when you felt messy in the past. And it feels like you're doing a way better job than you think you are right now at not abandoning yourself through this wave. And I want to look you in the eye and say that to you in your eyes. You're doing so much better than you think you are. And thank you for not abandoning yourself. Thank yourself for not abandoning yourself. Okay? And if you are judging yourself, remember to come back to compassion. Remember to just keep coming back to compassion. Sometimes these waves can be unpredictable in how long they stick around. And it's important to have that deep compassion with self and patience, and love yourself enough to say to yourself, hey, I'm gonna stick with you however long this lasts. I'll be with you as long as this lasts. Don't worry. I'll be here. So I'm gonna leave you guys with that. This message came through very spontaneously today. And I'm glad that it did. And I'm grateful to be sharing this from the bottom of my heart. And thank you if you were here listening. Mwah. I wish you the very, very best through this tender period. And you're gonna come out with a rejuvenated spark, okay? Stay with yourself. Not to get to the finish line, but because you love you. Because you're here for you. Because you're devoted to you. Because nobody else will. You gotta be the one. No one's gonna save you, okay? You gotta be the one. But anyway, I gotta go. Love you guys.